took care of Mercer Frey. Closed that chapter of the book. Got him out of the way. Now we can get the skeleton key back to Nocturnal and set everything right again. All that bad stuff Mercer put in motion, we can put an end to that right here. Restore Nocturnal's, what would you say, her influence on the guild. Get our luck back and get the Thieves Guild vault doors closed so that we can start putting our gold and our jewels and stuff in there again. Yeah, that thing is, a rat can't even find a piece of cheese off of the Thieves Guild vault right now. And we're broke. So, anyway, we'll get this back. Now, I know a lot of you guys will probably, at this point in the story, keep the skeleton key. And I guess there's a point to that, is that it's an infinite lockpick. It allows you to pick any lock for free. Makes things, I guess, a little more convenient. The little mini game for lockpicking never bothered me, personally. I mean, years later, I still it's not like annoying or an inconvenience or anything, but for those of you that don't want to bother with it, I get it. But unless they've changed something, as long as you have the skeleton key, your lockpick skill never goes up. Now, if your lockpick skill is already at 100, then that's even more incentive to keep the key because it doesn't matter. But if it's not, that's something to consider. For me, I'm going to return it regardless because it's A, part of the story, and B, is I like to continue on the Thieves Guild questing at least to a certain point. And hold on, who's this?
The Legion's always looking for strong, capable warriors. If you think you've got what it takes, our headquarters are in Solitude.
Oh, well, apparently the Legion hasn't found any, and if I have what it takes, how about this? What does it take to be an Imperial courier? That you never get tired of running to your Thalmor pimps? Is that what it is? Well, I'll tell you what, if I don't let you get to your destination, then that is one Nord family whose house doesn't get broken into in the middle of the night so that some innocent can be stripped butt naked and dragged through the snow to some Thalmor friggin' torture chamber. Okay, that's one more Nord family safe, and that's a meal for a saber-tooth, and about the only thing that's going to happen to you now, buddy, is you're going to get eaten and crapped out somewhere by some wild animal. How about that? How about that's what it takes? Punk ass. Anyway, sorry. No, I have no animosity whatsoever towards the Imperials here. Trespassing in Skyrim. With their Thalmor Nazi masters. So pathetic. Alright, I don't know where this guy popped out of. Let's see if he's got any good stuff. A lot of times you can disenchant their robes and learn some cool properties off that stuff, the enchanting table. Sometimes the robes are only worth like 20 gold, but they will teach you an enchantment, and it's worth having. All right, anyway. All right, so anyway, back to the key. You can keep the key and never raise your lockpick skill again. As far as I know, it counts as a quest item, so you can never drop it, right? Like put it in a chest and then come back and get it later, or type of thing. I think you have to have it. It also does not count as a Daedric artifact, like towards the achievement or the trophy, where you collect, I think you have to collect 15 of them. Is that right? Something like that. Anyway, it doesn't count as one of those. It does not count as a Daedric artifact obtained, even though it technically is a Daedric artifact. It's a quest item. But in returning it, you can carry on the rest of the Thieves Guild storyline and get all your fences and all your merchants and stuff in place, and that to me is a good deal. That's something I would do anyway. I don't know how much of that we'll do here in this playthrough, but that's something I'd normally do in my own playthroughs, just to have a constant source of income and a way to dump off any stolen goods and basically any merchandise. Fences don't just buy stolen stuff, they'll buy anything, and once you get the Thieves Guild restored, the fences have a lot of extra money to spend on you, and that's a good thing.
I don't recognize you, but I sense that you're one of us. Who are you? The last of the Nightingale Sentinels, I'm afraid. I've defended the Sepulcre alone for what seems like an eternity. We were betrayed by one of our own kind. In fact, I'm to blame for what's happened here. I was blinded by dark treachery masquerading as friendship. Perhaps if I had been more vigilant, then Mercer Frey wouldn't have lured me to my fate and stolen the skeleton key. I haven't heard that name in a long time. How do you know of me? The key! You have the skeleton key! I never thought I'd see it again. And Mercer Frey? Then it's over, and my death wasn't in vain. I owe you a great deal, Nightingale. That's quite a noble sentiment for someone in our, well, in your line of work. My only regret is that you had to undertake this task alone. Carlisle? She's still alive? I feared she'd befallen the same fate, ending up a victim of Mercer's betrayal. Nothing would bring me more pride than to return the key, but I'm afraid it's impossible. From the moment I arrived here, I felt myself, well, dying. The Sepulcre isn't merely a temple or a vault to house the key. Within these walls is the Evermere, a conduit to Nocturnal's realm of Everglow. When Mercer stole the key, that conduit closed, severely limiting our ties to her. I'm afraid so. I'm weakening, and I can feel myself slipping away. The years without restoration of my power have taken their toll. Whatever damage has been caused can only be corrected by following the Pilgrim's path to the Evermere and replacing the key. I wish I could help you, but I've been a prisoner in this very chamber for the last quarter century. The only possible help I've come across are the remains of some poor fellow who is trying to follow in your footsteps. Perhaps his journal can help?
Yeah, that's cool. That's Gallus. All right. The difference between Gallus and the rest of the spirits, the rest of the Nightingale Sentinels in here, is the other ones were here when Mercer stole the key, apparently. And they were corrupted when that happened. When the, what was it, the Ebenmere was closed, which I guess is something of a window or a Daedric portal, if you will, to Nocturnal's realm. The Everglow or Ebenglow, anyway, whatever, wherever she resides. And that's basically the conduit or the source of Nocturnal's blessing. Anyway, when Mercer stole the key, which was well before he actually murdered Gallus, apparently the Sentinels that were here got corrupted. And then when he later did murder Gallus, Gallus was sent here because that is part of the bargain that you strike with Nocturnal, is that you will serve her in life and death. And so that's what these Sentinels are, I guess, is Nightingales who have passed on. And Gallus coming here after the fact, after the key was stolen, but still being kind of sealed off from this area way here in the back, where the actual Ebenmere is. Okay, he's just been kind of a prisoner, just kind of roaming. And as soon as we return the key, I guess everything will be made right. I guess Gallus will have the freedom to roam back and forth. One thing I didn't do here, but you might want to consider, it was something I was just thought about after, is coming back to see if these corrupted spirits are still corrupted, or if they're even around anymore after returning the key, to see if maybe there's some conversation or something. Maybe you can get a little bit more history into the Nightingales or something from talking to them. It's something I've never done before. But I was anyway, just thinking about it. But as for now, we're just going to run this gauntlet. It's basically just a series of traps. Yeah, those corrupted spirits there, apparently they were here when Mercer stole the key, and yeah, things went bad for them. Alright, so the light here eats you alive, literally. And then there's all these floor traps hidden. but we have to follow the dark path. It's just a gauntlet. All right. One kind of cool thing I was thinking about is, okay, once we set everything right, once we return the key here and get let the Ebon Mirror open again or whatever, well, one thing you get, and this is another reason to return the key, is you'll get something. It's kind of like a racial ability, sort of. It kind of acts the same way. It's the ability it's one of several things. You can get like one of 3 different perks. One of them, I think, casts fear into an enemy or something, kind of like a fear spell or whatever. Then you have the ability to turn invisible as long as you're sneaking for like 2 full minutes, I think, once a day. Like I say, it's kind of like a racial bit. You can do it once a day. Like with the Breton, you have dragon skin, where you have a chance to absorb magicka for a short period of time once a day. Anyway, it's that type of thing. And then the last one is I can't remember. Anyway, you can pick one of 3 things. We can talk to Carly about it. She'll explain what each one of them does. Anyway, it's just little perks you get and stuff. And you can switch up. You don't have to just pick one and stick with it. You can change them out once a day also if you feel like it. Also, something interesting I'd like to note here, and I don't know how this plays into the mythology, if you will, or the whole religion aspect in Elder Scrolls, but Nocturnal actually gets a shrine that you can activate to receive the same type of blessings you would from a divine. Interestingly enough, we'll see it later. I'll show it to you once we get back to the Thieves Guild. But there is that, and that I don't know if that changes perspective on things a little bit, but just thought I'd point that out. That she is ranked there with the divines to some extent. Similar to Talos or Arcade or what have you. I wonder if we'll find out sometime way on down the road that if you look back millions of years in Elder Scrolls lore, back to the very, very beginning, if there was one initial divine, or if there were no divines, and divines were raised up or, what would you say, promoted from amongst men, from amongst people, like the absolute best thief, the absolute best worker that ever was, the absolute best warrior that ever was, the absolute best healer that ever was, and so on and so forth. You get where I'm going with this? And that for each one, that there would be kind of an anti-divine, which would be a Daedric prince who would flip the other side of that coin. You have truth and honor, then you have lies and deceit. You have hard work, then you have shifty bad deals. You have just opposite sides of the same coin. For every light, there's a dark. That whole type of thinking. Like I say, I'm getting off into stuff that I don't really understand so much, but it's just thoughts, just thinking. Maybe there's a little bit of something to that, because we know Talos was promoted and that he's counted amongst the divines, because if you go activate a shrine of Talos, it works. So that speaks for itself. That ends all argument right there. Well, there's a shrine to Nocturnal also, and she wouldn't be numbered amongst the divines, yet there you have it. So, don't know, just saying. Just because she's not recognized doesn't mean that she isn't, There's that too. You can say what you want about Talos, but it doesn't change what is. Alright, here we go. Return the key and, oh, hey, sexy you.
My, what do we have here? It's been a number of years since I've set foot on your world. Or perhaps it's been moments. One tends to lose track. So, once again, the key has been stolen, and a champion returns it to the Sepulcre. Now that the Ebon Mirror has been restored, you stand before me awaiting your accolades. A pat on your head, a kiss on your cheek. What you fail to realize is your actions were expected and represent nothing more than the fulfillment of your agreement. Don't mistake my tone for displeasure. After all, you've obediently performed your duties to the letter. But we both know this has little to do with honor and oaths and loyalty. It's about the reward, the prize. Fear not. You'll have your trinkets, your desire for power, your hunger for wealth. I bid you to drink deeply from the Ebonmere mortal, for this is where the agent of Nocturnal is born. The oath has been struck, the die has been cast, and your fate awaits you in the Evergloam. Farewell, Nightingale. See to it the key stays this time, won't you?
Actually, it had a little bit to do with loyalty. I could have kept the key, bitch. Whatever. Alright, let's see if I can talk to Carlia here.
Glad you were able to bring the key back safely. Nocturnal seemed quite pleased with your efforts. I wouldn't take that to heart. It's her way. Think of her as a scolding mother continually pushing you harder to be successful, outwardly sounding angry, but silently content. I assure you, had she been displeased with you, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The circles at the base of the Ebonmere imbue you with powers befitting a Nightingale agent. The crescent moon represents the agent of shadow, the half moon for the agent of subterfuge, and the full moon for the agent of strife. This is Nocturnal's way of maintaining balance. If you ever feel the need to change your abilities, you can return to the Sepulcre and step onto a different circle. Be warned that once you've chosen, you can't reselect for at least a day. Now, your life as a Nightingale begins. Should the need arise, you'll be summoned to the Sepulchre in order to defend it. The Guild has welcomed me back with open arms. I feel like a void in my life has finally been filled. I only hope that this isn't an ending to things, but actually the beginning. Why, perhaps the greatest crime spree Skyrim's ever known. There are pockets brimming with coin and coffers overflowing with riches ripe for the picking. We may be Nightingales, but in our hearts we're still thieves, and we're damn good at what we do. She's the mistress of night and darkness, and the patron of every thief in Tamriel. Nocturnal isn't one for worship and reverence. There are no priests and no sermons, no services, and no alms. She influences our luck, and in return, demands payment. You're closer to understanding than you realize. The only difference is she doesn't demand payment in the traditional sense, and sometimes the cost can be quite high. Whether you know it or not, Nocturnal dictates how well we perform as rogues. Again, you have to think differently. Haven't you ever noticed how our luck behaves? Like a novice picking an impossible lock, or a blind man suddenly turning to face you as you reach for his pocket. It's through these subtle means that Nocturnal influences us. Nocturnal's whim is the greatest mystery to everyone. There have been volumes written on the subject. Does she exact payment when we die? When we suffer? Does she revel in our misery? No one knows. The return certainly seems worth the risk, though. The agent of subterfuge utilizes shadow to cloud the judgment of those around him. By weaving the darkness to their will, this agent can manipulate others into fighting for the Nightingale for a limited time. This agent of strife can send forth a tendril of pure darkness into the heart of another, causing great injury to them. At the same time, this tether will bolster the agent's own life force, making him stronger. The Agent of Stealth is the master of remaining unseen. They are able to manipulate the darkness and use it to their advantage. On moonlit nights or in darkened rooms, this agent literally becomes invisible. Choose your path, and your journey will be complete.
Okay, well that invisible thing, that sounds cool. And which one did you say activated it? Oh crap. Okay, half moon, full moon. I think it was the dark moon or the crescent. I think that was it. Well, it doesn't matter.
Yes,
It's not like I'm going to use this thing regularly. I'll probably even forget I have it somewhere on down the line, but... So you just step on it, huh? There we go. Cool, let's check it out. Let's see. Become invisible while sneaking. Alright, sounds cool to me.
Carlisle?
Gallus! I feared I would never see you again. I was afraid you'd become like the others.
If it were not for the actions of this nightingale, your fears would have come true. She honors us all.
What will you do now, my love?
Nocturnal calls me to the Everglow. My contract has been fulfilled.
Will I ever see you again?
When your debt to Nocturnal has been paid, we'll embrace once again.
Farewell, Gallus. Eyes open. Walk with the shadows.
Goodbye, Carlisle.
Oh man, alright, so for those of you that are just a little bit romantic, and by returning the key and setting things right again,
Nightingale? What is it?
you make it possible for these two to reunite one day. And that's kind of cool, actually. I guess, you know, for the romantic side of it or whatever. Anyway. Alright, so we could come back here and change powers if we want to later, whatever. Like I said, I'll probably forget I even have that power, but might come in handy at some point. If I remember I've got it. Now I guess we can get back to the guild. And, get back to work. Business as usual now, right? Actually, I think there's no more quest markers involved with the Thieves Guild as far as story goes now. I think it's just a matter of doing stuff for Delvin and Vex until we restore the guild to its proper place.
It's good to see you in one piece, lass. It's good to see you in one piece, lass. I just wanted to give you a proper thank you for everything you've done. The guild is back on its feet again, and on its way to a prosperous future. What's become of the skeleton key? That's it then. After all those years of helplessly watching the guild decline. But enough of that. I'm confident that with you in charge, we'll soon have more gold than we could possibly spend. I'll be down here, trying to coordinate everything with Delvin and Vex, to make sure the coin keeps flowing, and no one skims. If you still feel like doing some jobs, I'm sure Delvin and Vex have more than their fair share to give out. Either way, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Here's to the future of the guild. May it last another 1,000 years.
Alright, and to become leader of the Thieves Guild, like I said, I believe it requires doing some more of those little missions and stuff. Anyway, but here's that shrine. Here's what I was talking about. See, notice when you activate it, it acts like a divine shrine. So there you go. Like I'm saying, not exactly sure what significance that has. I don't know if that lessens the position of the rest of the divines, or promotes the position of Nocturnal among the Divines. I'm not sure if that says more for her or less for the rest of the quote-unquote gods or whatever that people revere here in the Elder Scrolls. So anyway, just thought I'd point that out. Thought that was interesting. All right, now I have some goods to unload. I've got some stuff to turn into Delvin.
Still have quite a good bit of jobs available. Got lots of jobs available. Interested? Well, well. I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring them to me. I promise it'll be worth the effort. Must have come from Mercer's place. He'd admired the grey fox for some time. Sure, I'll buy it from you. Here you are. Well, well. I was looking for this little beauty. If you happen across any other unusual trinkets like this, be sure to bring them to me. I promise it'll be worth the effort. By the 8, you actually got your hands on it. This alone is worth more than some thieves earn in a lifetime.
Gladly. He won't bother you anymore, I promise.
What's the matter? Afraid of getting your hands dirty?
Alright, so, like I say, plenty of little tasks and stuff that we could do. Alright, don't know what we'll do now. May go join the Civil War. May get back in the main story. May go finish up the Dark Brotherhood. I don't know. We can do whatever we want, though. That's the amazing thing about the Bethesda games, is you go what you want, go where you want, do what you want. There you have it. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll see where we go on the next one. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. Want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, click that image there in the middle. It should take you right to the playlist. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.